Hello, family. How's everyone doing today? I hope everyone is doing well today. Let's talk about it because former Mayor Miss Lightfoot report about the financial state of the village of Dolton came out. It was very heartbreaking. Not only was it heartbreaking to hear, it was heartbreaking for us to feel how the residents must feel, because they really do care about their village. And it was just heartbreaking to know that now they are in so much hardship. So much hardship. After this report, it was unbelievable. Unbelievable. And our hearts goes out to the residents and the trustees of Dolton. Boy, y'all gonna have to do a lot of work. But Tiffany and her goons has basically bankrupted an entire village. How do a mayor be so careless to run through about $9 million? Well, for starters, we can say it's because they're going online, spending $33,000 in one day, really $40,000 in one day shopping. What? Let's talk about it, family. Y'all already know what we got to do. We got to do it for the ones in the back. Miss Lightfoot report was unbelievable. Tiffany and her goons has just sunk the village of Dolton within 2 years. Are you serious right now? Are you serious right now, Tiffany? Wow. Wow. Y'all already know what we got to do for the ones in the back.
This video is under fair use. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Acts in 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, and personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Yes, fair use. All rights and credits go directly to its rightful owner. This video is purely for fair use, opinion, and entertainment. Enjoy. And we also want to add that everything in this video is alleged. Yes.
Okay, so now that we done got that out the way for the ones in the back, where in the hell is Stan? Can anybody tell me where was Stan Brown? I'll wait. See, that's what I'm talking about right there. See, Stan was missing in action during this here report. He knew that this was coming up. He knew that this day was there. See, that's why I never trusted Stan too much. A lot of people are trying to give Stan the benefit of the doubt. And I understand that because, a lot of people want to see something good in Stan, and that Stan was trying to be, okay. But Stan is a straddler. He straddles the fence. It was perfectly clear when he wasn't sitting on the side of those trustees the night Miss Lightfoot gave her report. See, most likely, in my opinion, Stan. Yeah, see, I'm going to have to talk to you today, Stan. Yeah. Because, see, Stan, you about my age, too. And, see, you think you a slickster because you trying to straddle that fence. All you got to do is watch behavior. Yes. He up there fanning and straddling that fence. Never trust a smile with a Dracula burger in their hand. You got to know that this person is a straddler. Can't be trusted. Point blank, period. Because, see, Stan is giving me my opinion. Are you Tiffany's informant? Like, you're being close with everybody so you can figure and hear what the hell is going on so you can report back to Tiffany. Because Tiffany does know a hell of a lot that she really shouldn't know. Yeah. So, see, Stan should have been the main one at that meeting talking about how he's willing to make things right. Because after all, he benefited and enjoyed and had a good time with some of that money Tiffany was spending. And Miss Lightfoot gave her report, and Crunchy Munch Stan was nowhere to be found. He wasn't sitting by the trustees. See, just watch a person's behavior, and that'll tell you everything you need to know. And Stan's behavior shows me he's a fence straddler. Yeah. You think he's slick? Oh, slick daddy. Use a fence straddler. Are you playing both sides of the fence? You here? You with the trustees? See, Tiffany was up there trying to throw off at the last meeting when she wanted to fire Keith. Oh, y'all don't want to fire Keith. Y'all must have been playing me the whole time. Stan, are you playing the trustees this time? I'll wait. Because, see, I find it quite hard to understand why Stan was not at that meeting. Because he act like he wants to do right? And Stan most likely didn't want to hear that report because he knew he kind of benefited off that report. He kind of already knew what the report said. You know why? Because he'd been around the trustees and they have seen it and been talking about it. They shared it with him and all that. And most likely he shared it with the hen. Yeah, most likely he shared it with the hen because he didn't show up. See, I don't trust people like that. No, I don't. No. Fence straddlers. No. Can't trust a fence straddler at all. Now that I got that off my chest, you know, I've been side-eyeing Stan. I never did give Crunchy Munch Stan a break. Never did. Because something was telling me by his behavior something wasn't right. He was tiptoeing around a lot of stuff. Tiptoeing. Well, you know, I don't want to see nobody lose their job, so I'm going to have to vote no. You better be glad you still got your job. Because you ain't all the way in the clear. But you so worried about trying to straddle the fence. You know, I don't want. You know that Lacey and the rest of them that was on that list, especially Lacey, has a disturbing policing history. You know the things that Lacey have been doing. You know it. Because you was hanging with them. You was hanging with the goon squad. You know that town is better off laying Lacey off. But you still voted no. See, watch behavior, family. See, if you want to do right, you're going to do right all the way across the board. You're not going to half-ass do right. Never trust a cat daddy with a suit on, with that old cat daddy cap on, think they can play you. Think can't nobody see through them. Yeah. See straight through you, Stan. Yeah. So, people can fall for the okie doke if they want to. Yeah. But anyway, let's get right on into Miss Lightfoot's report and what was said, and let's break some of these things down that was said. Of course, a lot of this stuff was very familiar to me that I saw on the screen, and I'm gonna try to break it down, uh, you know, as quick as I can, because I don't want to waste a lot of time on there, because I know a lot of people, um, saw what Miss Lightfoot report was. I'm just going to break some of it down. As the Knowledge family who's been with us for a long time, they also know that this is what we do. We specialize in accounting, we specialize in inventory, we specialize in investigating things, okay? And so when that report came up, it was very alarming. And I try to break some down. And also, if anybody want to learn about accounting for their business or even just personal, if you want to learn about accounting, inventory, or financial reports, you can always go to our channel like y'all are on now. You click on our picture, you will see a category called playlist. On that playlist, you will see it's broke down in two categories: relationships and communication. That's what we're doing now, these type of videos. Then you would see inventory and financial. That's where we show and teach people how to do all that stuff for free. We don't charge a dime. You just click on it, and then we go step by step on accounting, on inventory, on financial reports, and all that stuff for free. So see, we don't just talk to talk, we talk and walk it, okay? And we do it for free, and it's for anybody in the world that clicks on it and wants to know about it. And we go step by step, and we go deep into it and help people learn about that type of stuff for a better career or just for their personal knowledge, okay? So now let's get on. And please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Salute to everybody. Salute to the moderator. Salute to the chat. Salute to the replay gang. Salute to the subscribers, old subscribers, new subscribers. Salute to you all. Thank you to all the ones that donate to the channel. It's greatly appreciated. Greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated, okay? So let's get right on into this, okay? This is a lawyer that started off, and he said some things that was very interesting. Okay, so let's start with him.
Finances and why we're here tonight to go into more detail. But the board has decided to implement a hiring freeze.
Hold on, before I say that too, we will have a live this coming Wednesday on the 14th at 5 p.m. Okay, so y'all can jot that down, write that down. Hope y'all can join the Knowledge family and come on in and we talk and do some call-ins and have a great time and things like that, okay? So that will be Wednesday coming up on the 14th, August 14th. Our live show is at 5 p.m. Okay, Central Time. All righty, let's kick it on in, family. Because I got a lot to say.
It was not able to be put on this agenda in time, but they want to know that, let the residents know that there's going to be a hiring freeze, that the village is just not able to hire any more employees in any department. There were some layoffs, and there's most likely going to be more layoffs, unfortunately, in the future. Since Monday's meeting, there's also been a number of instances of harassment in the workplace, threats to employees and elected officials. I have advised all staff and employees to document those incidents.
Okay, so you see the heat must be getting hot because they have been getting threats. City officials, residents, everything. They have been getting threats. And we're going to talk about that too, because just like he said that they've been getting threats and that they need to start reporting it now to higher officials. Tiffany and her goons are dangerous. And now they are going basically any means necessary to try to keep their ass out of trouble, basically. So now they're going around threatening people, which is, not shocking to us because that's what they do. We have seen them on camera walk up to residents because they didn't like what the residents said at a board meeting on comments. You know? So that was very alarming to hear, for him to say that they was getting threats.
And we are going to forward them to the Cook County Sheriff's Police Department, who by ordinance is the Inspector General for the Village of Dolton. And they will have the stronger arm to take action in regards to workplace harassment, retaliation, political work happening in the workplace, those kind of things. And the ordinance, you can get a copy of it. It was passed about 10 years ago, but the clerk can get a copy and post it. And I think it'd be a good idea to let everyone know what the sheriff is authorized to look into, and it's a lot of it. Once again, based on the board's directive, different individuals aren't following the board's directive. There was a deputy chief that was placed on administrative leave. He disregarded that and showed up the very next day. He then received a notice that he was terminated, and he
Well, everybody is clapping because he said that they gave Lacey a notice of termination now. You know, he showed up for work when they put him on a leave of absence. And so after that, they saw he was hard-headed, very disobedient. So then they gave him his termination papers, which is well overdue. Yeah, and so the crowd is clapping.
Despite being notified that he was terminated and in discussions with the Fraternal Order of Police, the FOP, he again showed up today.
Wow.
Once again, the mayor has changed the locks at the Village Hall. Everyone will recall how orderly and how nice it was to walk into the village board meeting on Monday night when the Madam Clerk and the trustees had key fobs to get into the village. Once again, this is about the third time that she has changed the locks, so the elected officials do not have access and cannot get into the village hall.
So y'all hear him say that Tiffany has changed the locks on that village hall 3 times. Y'all remember that meeting that they just had, the board meeting where Tiffany was there at Dolton Village, how the residents was able to come into the building and start their meeting before Tiffany even got there and before Lacey even got there, because they got access into the building, okay? And Tiffany didn't like that. So the next morning, she changed the locks so they could not get back in there anymore. Okay? Yeah, so that's her 3rd time changing the locks on that building. When they get access to it, she'll change the locks because she don't want them in there.
Which belongs to the people. I got a call from an attorney this afternoon who unfortunately says I have a couple lawsuits that I have to file against the village. It's been pending in court, and I can't serve the village because I can't get to the clerk because the doors to the village hall are locked. So it's causing some real issues, and federal judges are aware of what's going on. But the locks have changed, emails were shut off, and I had heard that Mr. Lacey and others have brought in their own IT person in an effort to gain access to their emails that were shut down.
Okay, so y'all hear him again say they shut down their emails. They shut down Lacey, everyone who is no longer employed there basically probably did Tiffany. I don't know if they did Tiffany's, but the ones who are on administrative leave and terminated, they took access away from them for his email, okay? And said that Lacey allegedly got his own IT person to go up in there and get in the emails anyway, even though he's not even supposed to be at work. You see how disobedient and hard-headed Lacey is, and Tiffany is, and the Goon Squad, okay? They will go to any means necessary. That is government equipment. That is government access. And Lacey is basically hiring an IT to hack into government property. How disturbing and dangerous. Wow. See, people need to take this thing very seriously here, because it's things like that that's very alarming. Those numbers are too, but this right here, when a person like Lacey and Tiffany or anybody can still show up to work, violate government officials' orders, and then go into the office, hire their own IT person. Who was that IT person? Is that another crook that knows how to do certain stuff to government stuff? He gets his own person to go into the computer, into the system, and tries to get his access to his email, which is hacking government property. How alarming.
I don't know the status of that, but there's a lot of stuff that happens really, really quick. Things happen every day. You just cannot believe what's going on with this administration. But we're doing our best. These board members are doing their best. Ms. Lightfoot has a very good presentation for everyone, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions after, but I think we'll move on from there.
Okay, family. Wow.
Hear me just fine, and particularly the folks in the back of the room. All right.
So this is Miss Lightfoot getting ready to give her report, and that this young lady here must be a part of her accounting squad as well. Okay, so let's check it out.
First and foremost, I want to just emphasize a couple points that Trustee House and others have made. First of all, thank you to the trustees, to Madam Clerk, to Mike McGrath and Bert Odelson. This has been a challenging investigation, to say the least, because we have not received the level of cooperation from the mayor and her team that I would have hoped. Nonetheless, we've had, I think, a breakthrough that's allowed us to be here in front of you today to give you the information that I know the trustees for sure and the members of the public have been seeking for some time. But I do want to emphasize this is just preliminary. We have more work to do. But as Trustee House said, we believe that it was very important to come before the members of the public so you would have some context for what the current state of your finances are as city government. As has been alluded to, I think there's going to have to be some tough decisions that are made, but you've got to make that with as complete a set of information as possible, and that's what this presentation is intended to do. Our work is ongoing, and we expect to finish with in expedited fashion, but as I said, we wanted to get to you as quickly as possible. A couple of points, just so we're all, I'm not an accountant, and I suspect many of you in the room are not, but we will be covering some accounting terms and wanted to just make sure that
I am family. I explain it to
the
everyone.
Same basic level of understanding as we go through these slides. We're going to talk about how the Village of Dolton handles its accounting system. We'll talk about in length, in detail, about the preliminary assessment of the financial status. We're going to go over what we've seen as increasing expenditures since 2021, unfunded expenditures, the current cash status, credit card use. Then we'll do a summary, and then we'll entertain questions from the trustees. So let me just jump right into it. Many of you know that the village, in the same manner as other municipalities in the state, accounts for its finances using what's called fund accounting. That means, that's just a fancy word of saying the expenses and the revenues are divided up into specific buckets of dollars, and those funds are what we're going to be talking about. The village maintains 3 categories of fund: a general governmental fund, the proprietary fund, and a fiduciary fund.
Okay, family. A village and most corporations have different funding. Okay, so I'm gonna be brief with this, quick as I can. Say if you are operating, let's say, a restaurant. Okay, you would have a fund for maintenance, like when maintenance people have to come and work on a building, do some type of air conditioning work or flooring work or something like that. Maintenance. You will have a fund for maintenance, meaning that those people only get paid out of that money. Then you will have a fund for food, okay, because you're running a restaurant. Only food funds are used out of that category, okay, money and stuff. You can't use pay the maintenance out of your food fund, okay, because now you're messing the thing up, okay. You got to keep the categories like it is, okay. Then say you'll have a category for supplies for your pens and your papers and your copy printers and stuff like that, okay. And you cannot take money from your supplies and pay for food. You start messing things up. So that's 3 categories, say, that you will have for your restaurant, even though they have more. I'm just giving a quick example. So that's what she's talking about the categories. So in the village case, they have these 3 main categories, okay? Now, let's continue.
Under each category, actually, I'm going to pass it to my colleague, Amanda, who will go into more detail about these different funds. Go ahead, Amanda. Sorry about that.
So within each category of funds, there are underlying funds that are used to account for resources that are for different purposes. The first category, governmental funds, includes the general fund, which is going to be the focus of our presentation this evening. And the general fund is what's used to account for the day-to-day operations of the village. Additionally, there are what are known as special revenue funds. These are specific funds for specific purposes. This includes the motor fuel tax and TIF money. The final governmental fund is debt service funds, where the village's debt obligations are accounted for, which is primarily the public bond debt. The final 2 categories of funds, which we will not be covering today, are proprietary funds, which account for transactions that are more business in nature, operations that should be funded by customer payments. That's the water fund, the sewer fund, and the fitness center. And the final are fiduciary funds, which are held for non-governmental parties, and that is the village's pension trust funds.
Okay, so
let's
y'all
jump
got
into
that.
the specifics. Many of you know that the village's fiscal year runs from May 1 to April 30th. So it's those 12 months, but they span 2 years. Certain financial disclosures are mandated under state law that the village reports to the comptroller of the state each fiscal year. The 2 documents that we're going to talk specifically about are the annual financial report, and you see the citation there. It's a state law, and the audited financial statements. The village has not, and let me repeat that, the village has not complied with these statutory requirements since fiscal year 2021. There's no annual financial report available after 2021, and no audited financial statements after 2021. So what that means is the information that we're providing you has not been thoroughly audited by a CPA, but we do have information coming from an entity that essentially serves as the finance department of the village.
Okay, let me explain about what she says. Their fiscal year run from May 1st to April 30th. Okay, that means that that's their year, and their year starts April 30th is their deadline for the end of their year, meaning that they start a whole new year for us paperwork, for us accounting, everything else. Their year stops April 30th, okay? So it goes through April 30th, okay, all the way to May of the next year, okay? So it'll go April 30th, and then May 1st, you start a new one. All the way till you get to April 30th of the next year. Then that's when you wrap up all your yearly paperwork. April 30th, you gather all your yearly paperwork, and that's all the work and all the money y'all have made for that year. Okay? It don't start like how January is a new year for everybody, and then it go all the way through until December is the end of the year, and then January starts over again. No, in some companies, their new year, starts different months. In the Village case, their new year starts May 1st. Okay? Everything from May 1st all the way until that next April of the next year, all is considered one year. And that's when they have to do all their accounting work, all their paperwork and everything, and see how much they've made for the year or how much they lost for that year. Okay? So, hope y'all understand that. If not, y'all go to the playlist and y'all will see a category called accounting, okay, up under inventory.
Historically, from what we can tell, the Village has had small or no full-time financial staff. At various times, even though statutorily there's a provision for a city treasurer, none exists and hasn't for some time. There's a provision for a finance director. There's been intermittent people that have served that role, but that role has been vacant as of May of this year. And before that, the person who held the role started working part-time as of the end of December in 2023. So as you can see, given the lean or no financial staff, there's a lot of dependence upon the John Kasparic accounting firm, which is functionally operated as the Village's finance department for some time. What we have examined are monthly financial reports from January of 2021 to May of 2024, produced by the Kasparic firm. And as I mentioned, due to the Village's failure to conduct an audited financial statement, we have to caveat the accuracy of the information, but we feel fairly confident based upon lining out not only the monthly reports, but looking at bank statements that match up with the information that's in the financial reports. And we've had the opportunity to talk to some of the folks at the Kasparic firm who are responsible for managing the finances of the Village, and that work is ongoing. As of May 30th of this year, the Village's general fund was in a net deficit position, meaning that there is insufficient funds in that general fund. As we mentioned, The general fund is used to account for the majority of the Village's day-to-day operations, including payroll and vendor payments. The Village's special revenue fund and debt service fund, however, are in a positive position, but each of those funds are restricted funds, meaning you cannot borrow from one to give to the other. And that is what's causing, in part, the financial crisis. What's next you can see is a graphic that depicts where we started as of April, where the Village started as of April of 22, with positive of $5.6 million in the general fund, and where we are as of May of 2024, which is a negative $3.65 million.
Okay, so the Village in 2022, as y'all see, family, let me blow it up. The Village in 2022, okay, was in good shape when the hen got in there. Okay, they had 5.61 mil in their general fund. Okay, and then you see that next year, 2023, it dropped. They only had 2.66 mil, which shows that Tiffany was spending. She spent about 2.5 mil or more within a year. Okay? Then you will see in 2024, they down at 3.8 million in the hole. And as of May of this year, 3.65 in the hole. So within 2 years, Tiffany went through 5.61 mil and then went through another extra 3.65 mil, which is a total of about $9 million. If you add the 6.1 and the 3.65, you're hitting over 9 mil. Okay, so that's what I wanted to show y'all. If you add those two right there, that means that she went through this 5 mil and then was spending, even though they didn't have it, must be like on credit or something, just telling people, yeah, we'll hit you up, just let us get it, and the bills started accumulating until it's an extra 3.65 in the hole, okay, which is 9 mil in the hole. All right, so now, wow, in 2 years. And then, I feel like this, if it's Tiffany haven't produced any receipts, and she loves to say fake news, well, show the people that you have all receipts to account for. What did you spend so much to put y'all 9 mil in, basically in debt? Like you went through 9 mil. Where's the receipts? That's why most likely she's not producing receipts. Because it stinks to high sky.
Mayor Lightfoot, if I may.
Yes.
Just kind of as a summary now, just quick numbers. So in a 2-year span, we're talking about a $9 million swing or $9 million of deficit over that course of time. Would that be most accurate?
Yes.
All right, turning now to the increasing expenditures of the village. Over the last 3 fiscal years, the average monthly expenditures of the village have increased by nearly 30%. As you can see in the graphic, in fiscal year 2022, on average, the village spent about $1.9 million a month. But in the last fiscal year, that amount had climbed to $2.5 million. These increasing expenditures have not been accompanied by corresponding increases in revenue. Again, as you see in the graph on the blue bars, the revenues have remained relatively the same over that time period, around just over $24 million, while expenditures have climbed from $23 million in 2022 to $30 million in 2024. Ultimately, in fiscal years 2023 and 2024, expenditures exceeded revenue. Specifically in 2024, it was over $5 million more in expenditures than revenues.
Okay, so what she's saying is, and some of you might know, but I'm still going to break it down a little bit. Okay, as you will see, this is the blue is the money coming into the village. Okay, the yellow, the money going out of the village. Okay, so here in 2022, it kind of roughly did, they made this much, but then they spent this much. Okay. Didn't have a whole lot of, it stayed kind of even. Okay, you bring in 24 mil, but then say you spend out 23 mil. Okay? And then you see the next one, you'll bring in 24 mil, but then you'll spend 28 mil. That's a red flag right there. You cannot spend more than what you're bringing in. If you only bring in $50 in your house family, right? And then you go somewhere and try to spend $100. Okay, so then you would tell the people, hey, just let me get that other 50 on credit. And then you could start going deep and deep in the hole if you keep doing that. You spending more than what you got. Okay? And then you see in 2024, it went bad. Only had this, but then spent that amount. So the spending was getting bad each year. That's what it's giving. You know, that's what it's giving.
To look further at the increasing expenditures, the table on the screen highlights the two village departments that are the main drivers of this spending increase: the General Administration and Administrative Compensation Department and the Police Department.
So basically, that police department is eating the majority of the money. Okay? I know y'all probably can't see it there. I'll try to blow it up so y'all can see. But as y'all will see, that police department, 9 mil. What? You know? And remember, so this is from 2022. 2020. So in 2022, they spent 6 mil on the police department. Then in 2023, looks like Tiffany was giving her goons some good overtime and all that. It went to 9 mil. Okay, and 1. And then in 2024, it went to 9 mil and 3. Okay, so her goons got a big jump from when she got in there, 6,000, to now they accumulate 9 mil altogether in that 2024 year. Okay? And the same thing what she was saying that's going on. Okay, that was general admission at first. Sorry, family. That was general admission at first up here. Okay? This, the second round, which the general is highly too high. Those two are the ones that's basically draining the village. General administration and administrative compensation. Okay? And then you'll see the police department. You'll see the hold on, family. Hold on. Hang in there with me. You'll see the police department right here. Y'all will see the... Let me get it back right. Okay. Now y'all will see the police department. So the first line is that general. And then the next red one is the police compensation. Okay. And they went from 7 mil in 2022 all the way. They jumped to 8. Then they jumped to 9 mil. So she gave 9 mil in 2024 to the police department. And you know, we had already said that her police goons was getting like, what, $10,000 checks every 2 weeks. And saying that he worked 380 something hours. That's impossible. 380 something hours every 2 weeks. No, that is impossible. You know, but she was doing it. Okay, so now, let's go here.
Turning first to the General Administration Department. Turning first to the General Administration line, the increase in expenditures here has grown about approximately 47%. This was around $6.4 million in fiscal year 2022, and it was $9.4 million in fiscal year 2024.
Wow.
There have been increases in general administration spending in nearly every area, but there are a handful that stick out the most. As you can see on the first line, the largest driver of this increase is a more than double change in liability insurance cost. It's gone from 1.2 million in fiscal year 2022 to 3.2 million in fiscal year 2024.
Wow.
Other areas where we see large increases are miscellaneous expenditures, settlements, legal fees, and telephone.
Let me just add regarding the legal fees. These are, everything that we're representing to you tonight are things that have been booked in one of the general ledgers or otherwise. We know that the legal fees that have been booked so far are underestimated because there are a number of legal fees that have yet to be paid. And obviously with the litigation that's been filed, particularly by vendors who have not been paid, those legal fees will definitely, this is a very conservative estimate of what those fees actually are.
Okay, so what she's basically saying is that this $3 million in liability, you know, where a lot of liability is a lot of sometimes that they had to pay on a lawsuit, and they paid a little bit of this, or they pay any type of liability, insurance, whatever. But what she's saying is this is just what they had got so far. But of course, it's a lot of other things, liabilities that's pending on the village that's definitely going to drive that $3 million number up a whole lot. Okay, but right now she's just saying that's what she was able to grab and she knows about. Okay, but of course it's a lot of pending litigations on the village, such as lawsuits and things like that. We already know about that. Okay, so that number definitely is up higher, but you know, they don't know how much higher, but is tremendously higher because they have pending things against them right now.
Let me drill a little bit down also in what we're seeing so far with the police department. Those expenditures have increased approximately 21% since FY22. Some of that is obviously driven by the union contracts and making sure that there's retro pay and that the police officers are compensated according to the collective bargaining agreement. Within the police department expenditures, categories with large increases include overtime, other miscellaneous expenses, and I will tell you we don't know exactly what that is, but we're working on unpacking that, contractual services, other professional services, and medical insurance. We wanted to highlight for you, particularly given overtime, what we saw as two outliers in officers, Officer Terry Young and Officer William Reed. Both of these individuals in the last 2 years have earned more in overtime than their base compensation.
Wow.
And you can see these numbers here.
So what she's saying is they make more in overtime than their actual salary. That's not supposed to happen. Okay? So if you make $20,000 a year and then your overtime is $40,000 a year, like what? You don't make but $20,000 a year. How is your overtime about double the amount or twice the amount of your regular salary? That's not supposed to happen. Okay? So that's what they mean by that. And that Terry Young has, as y'all see, he is making it up. He doing it up. You know? So, I mean, this is unbelievable.
Officer Terry Young in FY2 2023 earned $194,290 total, given the base salary and the overtime. And then in FY 2024, that increased to $227,351, combining the base salary and the overtime.
Wow.
Officer Reed for FY 2023 had a total earnings of $145,450, and officer, and in FY 2024, $192,732.
Wow. So as y'all see that right here, his total income for 2023 was $194,000. Okay? But you ain't supposed to be making but $72,000. So he done damn near doubled his pay. He doubled his pay. So if you see right there at the next one, his base salary was, let me stop doing that because it keep hitting it. But you'll see the Reed, his base salary was like 55. But then you will see he bought in 145,000 a year. So he made 55 for his salary. That's his regular salary. And then you got an extra damn near 55 something thousand. Almost. You see? So his overtime and his regular pay, he make $145,000 a year. It's not supposed to happen. You're only supposed to make $55,000 a year. Yeah, you're going to get some overtime, but it ain't supposed to be that much worth of overtime. Come on now. They just, it's giving scamming the government hard.
We thought it also important for you to know that Acting Chief Lacey has accumulated overtime. It's our understanding that he is not part of the collective bargaining unit and has not been for some time, which under normal circumstances would mean that he is not entitled to overtime. But as you can see here, for FY22, FY23, and FY24, and we're now in fiscal year 2025, through those 4 years, he's accumulated $215,747 just in overtime.
Unbelievable. Just in overtime. Unbelievable. And like she said, the chief, acting chief, or whatever he want to call it, or Tiffany want to call him, he wasn't even supposed to be that, okay? But the thing is that when you are a chief and stuff like that, it's sometimes that you're not allowed to get overtime. For instance, family, like when you are a salary worker, the salary workers don't get overtime. Okay? Not like that. You see what I'm saying? So that's why some companies put you on salary, because they feel like, okay, even though you work over 40 hours, your pay still stay the same. Right? So that's the purpose of salary. It's like, it's kind of a good and a bad thing, because sometimes some people do work way over 40 hours a week. Okay? But the pay still stay the same. So that's how they're saying it should have been with Lacey. But Lacey was accumulating his salary and getting overtime, which he is chief. He is not really allowed, allegedly, the way they put it, to get overtime. But he got $215,000 worth of it. Wow.
Now we're going to move, ladies and gentlemen, to unfunded expenditures. And this is really focused on, as we alluded to, we're going to move to unfunded expenditures, and this is really focused on checks that have been approved by the board from warrant lists that have come before the Board of Trustees, but held and not sent to the vendors. Based on the records that we have reviewed since March of 2023, the village has been unable to pay all of its monthly expenditures with available cash balance. Since that time, nearly every month, a portion of the checks approved and printed have been held by the village due to unavailability of funds.
Wow.
Per records from the John Kasperick firm, as of June 18, 2024, there are 589 checks totaling over $6 million
Wow.
that have been approved, printed, but not transmitted to vendors. And that is...
Okay, so, like they said, a lot of people are saying, oh, well, they had the checks and they just didn't deliver it or whatever. So Tiffany didn't take the money because the board approved the checks. The checks just wasn't issued out. The checks wasn't issued out like she said. They wasn't issued out, family, because it was no money in the bank. See, Tiffany and the goons seemed like they pretty slick and smart and trying to out-slick the government, okay? What it is, family, is if your bank account is low, you got no money in it, and you got a bunch of checks that you're supposed to pay people. Well, if you take those checks to the bank, like you're supposed to be paying some people, if those people once you send the checks to those people, once the people get those checks and they take it to their bank, what it's going to do? Bounce. Because you don't have the money in your account. So to keep from it bouncing, to cause alarm, and to show that you have no money in the bank, you just keep the people check. And the people still waiting on their check and the check never come. That's how come you hear some of the vendors say, we haven't gotten our check. And then you will hear the trustees say, well, we approved it on the agenda. So why isn't, they asked the mayor, we approved for them to get paid. Why haven't you sent the checks to these people? Because they're on your desk. And Tiffany really never answers that question. Why is 589 checks sitting on her desk? Because if she gives those checks to the people that supposed to have the checks, and they take it to their bank's going to tell them that check bounced. And once that happens, everybody will know they don't have no money in the bank. So Tiffany held it all together so that won't come out, that they don't have no money. See, if she holds the checks, or if the administration holds the check, nobody never know that they don't have no money in the bank, because it's not going to cause no alarm. Only thing y'all going to be hearing is, we didn't get our money, like those vendors saying we didn't get our money. That's all y'all will be hearing, but you have no proof that it ain't no money in the bank. The only way you will have proof that ain't no money in the bank is if she would have sent them checks to the people and they would have tried to cash the check and the check would have bounced. Then the people would have said, hey, Dolton Village is broke. They bounced. They bounced. The check bounced. So Tiffany wanted to keep that on the low. So she didn't issue the checks. That's the breakdown, how she did that. Yes. How the administration, whoever was holding it, that's why they was basically holding it, because they knew that they had no more money in that account. How trifling.
A big driver of the deficit in the general fund.
It is a big driver of why they out.
It's over $6 million in held checks. I want to caution, does not account for additional monies potentially owed by the village to vendors for which checks have not even been printed. These categories, which we are looking into, include, for example, invoices that have been received by village departments, but for one reason or another may not have been entered into the accounting system, which is called My Viewpoint.
Right.
These invoices could have been entered into the accounting system, but not been approved by department heads or by the village administrator. And this could also include invoices that have not been approved by payment for the Board of Trustees. You're aware that from time to time, the warrant lists are presented. The trustees say, pay this, not pay that. Well, those checks that are on the warrant list roll over from time to time. And it probably makes sense, just to explain really briefly, there is not a centralized repository for vendors to put their checks in electronically, or their invoices, I should say, so that it's automatically in the system. It has to be either hand-delivered or sent via email. It goes to the appropriate department head. Then it's up to that department head to approve and enter those invoices into the MyPoint system.
Right.
And it depends upon the dollar amount of the invoice, who has final approval for those invoices to make it onto the warrant list. But that's the way the process works now. It will not surprise you that one of the recommendations that we will have when we finish our work is that the village invest in an automated system so that nothing falls between the cracks. The vendor will be able to see real time, where is my invoice moving through the system, and you'll know where it sits, either with the department head or otherwise.
Okay, so what Ms. Lightfoot is saying is basically it's called accounts receivable and accounts payable, family. What it is, evidently, the village of Dolton do not have a system. She's calling it MyPoint system, and it's a lot of different systems that do that. It's a system that when somebody give a company an invoice, that company takes that invoice, let's say for an example, family, that someone did work in your house, okay, and you're running a business in your house. So they give you an invoice, somebody came in and they say they fixed your AC. But you do your house is considered a business because you do business out of your house. You're supposed to take that invoice, go to your computer, go to your system, which she's saying MyPoint. You go to your system in your computer and you put in that invoice. That invoice could be $200 for that person to fix your AC. You're supposed to enter that invoice in the system. Okay, once you enter that invoice in the system, then say that you have a corporate office that you're working for, you just working from home. Okay, then you would take that invoice at the end of the month, like you pay any other bill. You would take that invoice, all the invoices you have accumulated all that month, you're supposed to put them inside that system. That system will then generate how much you owe vendors for that month. Okay? The computer will tell you. Then you would take that and send it to the corporate. Then the corporate person, the financial person in corporate, will look at all those bills and see who they have to pay. Then corporate will enter that into their system and then release the check to those people. But what Ms. Lightfoot is saying, the village of Dolton don't have a system that they put their invoices in, and then once the invoices get in there, it generates, and then at the end of the month, they shoot those invoices to whoever they need, whoever's in charge of paying bills. They shoot it to them. Then that person has it in their file, their MyPoint file, and then it'll tell them how much they owe, and then they start cutting checks from there. That's a paper trail. Then the vendor can also, like if their check is late, they can call the corporate or they could call you and say, hey, that air conditioner that I fixed for you 2 months ago, I don't have the check. Then you could say, well, I sent it to corporate for corporate to pay you. Call corporate. Then they will call corporate, and then corporate say, yeah, we have it. It was a delay. It's on the way. And there is a trail showing that vendor can see it too on their end. That, okay, yeah, they did release the check, so it should be to me, pretty soon. Or it's going to say, nah, they ain't released the check. But it'll be a paper trail to show that. Okay? So that's what she's saying about that. Hope y'all can understand that.
All right, we'll turn now to discuss the cash status of the village. So the village has 22 different bank accounts. A majority of those bank accounts are designated for the special revenue funds or bond escrow funds. So the money in those bank accounts is restricted and shouldn't be used for day-to-day operations. I'll also note that these 22 accounts don't include the pension assets. The pension assets are held in separate trust accounts. Most of the village's expenditures each month are paid from one main operating bank account. As of June 30th, 2024, that bank account had a balance of $715,000. As of April 30th, 2021, that account had a balance of almost $1.5 million. So a decrease of over $750,000. In addition to the main operating account, historically the village has held its excess cash in an account known as Illinois funds. Illinois funds are interest-bearing accounts that are managed by the Illinois Treasurer's Office that allow municipalities to earn interest on their excess cash balance. The balance in the Illinois funds account as of June 30th was only $3,900.
Wow.
As of April 30th, 2021, that balance was over $2 million. So the balance of excess cash has dropped by over $2 million in that time period.
Wow. So you see how much money they're going through? They're going through a lot of money. Tiffany and her administration is going through a lot of money. But remember, I told y'all in the last video that the word was out that it was a lot of credit cards given to a lot of different people who are a part of Tiffany's administration and are goons. Okay? But you will see how much money they spent from 2021. Then in 2024, they only had $3,000. Now, they had $2 million in there. Then they dropped and they had but $3,000 left. Like I said, $3,000 to take care of over 20,000 people? Come on now. It's some people that's listening right now that have about $3,000 in the bank account. And if not, they probably have some money coming to them that about amounts to that much on their job. And then they just kept on spending until it got $2 million in debt. I mean, come on now. It don't make sense. It really don't. This is unbelievable.
The monthly financial reports include a summary of the unrestricted cash balances of the village each month. Within these summaries, the balance reflected already accounts for those held checks that Mayor Lightfoot was just discussing, checks that have been issued but haven't cleared because they haven't been sent yet to vendors. What you can see on the chart is that the unrestricted cash balance of the general fund has dropped from almost $5 million as of April of 2022, and it is now accounting for all of the checks that have yet to be sent, is now in a deficit position of over $5.5 million as of May of 2024.
So y'all see that? They had this right here, $4.5 million in 2022. Now in 2024, they negative $5 million. So you spent this and that. I mean, it's just a lot. Where's all these millions going? Where's all and the sad part is all you hear most of the time is a water main break. Things like somebody's basement flooded. They don't have a poor sewage system. Poor pipes. A lot of this money could have went towards all of that. But no, Tiffany want a party. Throw stepping events, house party events. Throwing out ragged ass turkeys. Turkey smoky tails and all that. And they swimming in debt. Then want to do bingos and all that. Swimming in debt. I told y'all. Most likely, a lot of stuff finna be seized and confiscated. They already talking about selling a building. Wow.
We thought it was important to give you a little bit of insight into credit card use by village employees. We do not have complete information yet. It is our hope that we will get further cooperation and be able to have a complete picture of credit cards, but we wanted to share with you what we do know so far. We are aware that over this time period, from 2021 to the present, the village used 6 different credit cards at various points, from January 2021 through May of this year. 4 American Express cards that appear to have been used by various folks within the police department. The statements for these accounts were addressed to Ernest Mobley, Robert Collins, and Louis Lacey.
Mayor, may I interject there for a moment? Because we have, former Deputy Chief Mobley is present with us and an amazing officer, so I'm certain there was no misuse or misconduct on that behalf. So I want to make sure I state that because he's been an exemplary officer.
Yeah, all we know was what we've seen in the paper so far.
Okay. Jason. When an accountant and an auditor is doing a report, it only shows track records of where it's leading you to. If it shows that Lacey spent a lot on the credit card, and it shows that the previous chief, who you say is in the audience, and when he used it, everything was approved. Hey, look here, we ain't got nothing to do with that. We are showing you what it is, Jason. Okay? Then you could talk to Miss Lightfoot afterwards, and y'all go through the paperwork, and then it has to show that everything he spent was legit. I'm just saying this for like to help you, not to hurt, okay? Because I do this type of work, okay? We go by the paper trail. It's no need for somebody to say, oh, my home girl, don't worry about how she spent it. Just focus on Lacey. No, that's not how this works. The paperwork shows me that it was a outstanding spending on some credit cards, and Lacey was outspending, and this gentleman here was outspending. Now, whether these two both are spending legit, we don't know, or not legit. But right now, it's showing that these two have spent an enormous amount off these credit cards. And the evidence will show what each item was to say if it was a legit spending or not. But when you say something, just butt in and say, hey, don't worry about this person, they legit. It causes alarm and red flags to your audience. Because Tiffany was doing the same thing when it comes to Keith Freeman and everything like that. Don't worry about what they do. Just focus on this person. Okay? Love them all, still love them all. But I just have to say it from an accountant's point of view. So, for now on, like when reports are put out and Miss Lightfoot says something, she really don't need to be interrupted. That's supposed to wait until behind closed doors. And then you tell people at the next meeting, hey, remember when Miss Lightfoot brought up such and such? Well, we went through the paperwork and all his spending was legit. That's how that goes.
Not interviewed any of these folks to get a better understanding of the specifics around credit card use. We have some knowledge of that, but we'll share that as part of the final report. There's one American Express card for which statements are addressed to Keith Freeman, the village administrator, and there was one Fifth Third card which statements are addressed to the village. We've been told that that card is no longer in use. We understand from the records we've received from the Kasperick company in interviews that we've conducted that receipts for credit card purchases are rarely provided. Further, we understand that the credit card balance, because it comes due, of course, every month, we all know that, is paid as a matter of course, and it is reflected in the accounting records as miscellaneous police department expenditures. We're looking into what is the reason and rationale for that, but what this means is that these credit card bills that are paid do not appear on warrant lists and are therefore not presented to the board for approval. Again, that will be a recommendation that we make, and the board is obviously aware of this issue.
So see, it's like they have credit cards and they swiping, and they're spending, and a lot of it was coming from the police department, like they say, Lacey, okay? Now, like she said, we will go through to see if some of these items or whatever was legit. If they was legit, it'll come out in the final report. If it wasn't legit, it's going to come out in the final report. But as of now, it is excessive spending. That's all we wants to see. Where is their financial state? She's just saying where a lot of the money went and how it was being spent and how much was being spent. Okay? Because I have that problem when I'm out and I'm doing work for different companies, and I come in and they ask me to do their audit, troubleshoot something for them. And I will find some things, and I've had a man tell me that he's the owner. I said, hey, this person here is spending excessively. And he told me, oh, don't worry about that. That's my daughter. You don't have to worry about what she's spending. Who else is spending? Nah, wait a minute. Do you want me to do this thing or not? Because I don't give a damn that it's your daughter. You asked me to come here and find your money, and I'm telling you, this is the person who is excessively spending. Now, whether you want to hear it or not, I'm sorry. I'm just giving you the paper trail of who is really digging in your money, and it doesn't look like it's responsibly. That's all. It's nothing personal. It's business. Don't ask me to come and troubleshoot your business and then tell me, don't troubleshoot that person. No, I'm investigating every employee you got. I don't give a damn if it's your daughter. If your dog is spending money, I'm investigating that one too.
Which is in part why they took the action that they took the other day to rein in the credit card spending. We also understand from the Kasperick company that the only time a credit card charge would be reflected on a warrant list is if a receipt is provided. And as I've said, our information is that the receipts are rarely provided. We want to highlight a couple of credit card purchases.
This is unreal.
You're having the same reaction that we did when we saw this. So in particular, we were very concerned to see the top three purchases that were highlighted for you that were booked on January 5th of 2023. That's roughly $40,000, a little more than that, in credit card purchases on Amazon in the same.
Tiffany, what in the hell y'all got at Amazon here? What did y'all get for $40,000 in one day at Amazon? And then y'all did 3 different transactions. 33,000. Y'all bought some stuff. Then a couple of minutes later, looked like on the same day you spent 4,000. Then a couple of hours later, the same day on the 5th, y'all spent 5,000. What is going on here? What did y'all get from Amazon? What did y'all get? Was y'all buying furniture and all that stuff? Stuff for your little whip? Stereo system? What was y'all buying? But see, you gonna say it's fake news, but then don't want to produce no receipts. Like Miss Lightfoot is producing receipts. Where in the hell is your receipts at? We've been asking about this. Where is the Amazon? We want to see what all you bought at Amazon, Wayfield. What is going on here? You need to be booted up out that seat. This don't make no sense. It really don't. 33,000 in one whop. Everybody probably was saying, hey, get this for me. Hey, get this for me. I want this. Oh, we finna be sharp today. Hey, get that for me. Girl, my toaster done went out. Girl, get me that. Girl. Yeah, I get it for you. Wait a minute, wait. What y'all doing over there? Oh, good, we ordered stuff off Amazon. Wait a minute, the whole goon squad come around talking about what they need. They need shoes. They need drawers. They need all panties. They need all that. What is Amazon is going on here? We want to see the items. Was them wigs on there too? That's what we want to know.
And our understanding is that the village does not have an.
You know what? Tiffany love giving out them old Easter baskets. All that stuff there. She probably ordered all that stuff off Amazon. All that stuff for the Easter baskets, for the trifling Easter egg hunt event, turkey event. Yeah. Where is all that? What is all that stuff? Did you order those ice skates off of Amazon? What's really going on? We want to know. We want to know. You ain't producing no receipts, but you going to quick to holler fake news.
Amazon account. These are somebody using one of the credit cards and charging these amounts using your tax dollars. We suspect we're going to see, as you can see, expenditures at Target, Walgreens, Best Buy, a number of charges that raise questions in our mind. Are these legitimate purchases using the credit cards?
That's what we want to know, Tiffany. Goon squad.
Found in the credit cards. I know that there's been a lot of interest in travel.
What Kamal got out the deal? What everybody, what Lacey get? Carmen, you know. Even though you're over there in Thornton, you were hanging with the hen all up in the pen. What did y'all get? What did y'all get? We just want to know. That's a lot of money. Everybody quiet. And Stan didn't show up. Stan by no. See, if Stan had come to this here meeting, Stan could have told us what a lot of this stuff probably was. He could have cleared a lot of this up if he had appeared. He could have said, oh, okay, Mayor Lightfoot, let me tell you this. I could tell you probably where about $4,000 of it went. It went such and such here. I mean, that's just my opinion. But I'm thinking I could tell you kind of on the 5th of that month, kind of what was going on there. See, he probably could have put in the input, but no, Stan stayed out the way on this one. So now it makes me wonder, Stan, is one of them suits you got on came from Amazon? Uh-huh. That's what I want to know. Did it? And that old hat? Because you sure was trying to be spiffy around there. I noticed you have on them suits and stuff. Did some of those suits come from Amazon? Because you sure didn't appear here at this meeting.
And we are highlighting here on this slide some of the travel that is reflected in the village credit cards. Birmingham, Alabama, and Montgomery, Alabama in March of 2023 with 5.
And I done told you they're going to stay out my stomping ground. But see, this was before we already knew, because, see, you came across that Edmonds Pettis Bridge, which was very disrespectful. And you had putting your residents in hardship going across a bridge that's trying to prevent hardship. Don't do that no more, girl. Nah, we ain't gonna be able to do it. I told y'all, made a couple of phone calls to Governor Ivory. No, you can't bring all that toxicity down here with all that right there. Anyway.
5 known travelers. Washington, D.C. in 2023 with 4 known travelers. Las Vegas, Nevada with 8 known travelers. Jackson, Mississippi in June of 2023 with 3 known travelers. Austin, Texas in July of 2023 with 3 known travelers. Portland, Oregon in July of 2023 with 4 travelers. Central and Southern Illinois in September of 2023. I think you're aware of what happened during that time. 10 hotel rooms booked during.
Why y'all got 10 hotel rooms? Tell me that. What was y'all doing in them 10 hotel rooms? Was y'all partying in them hotel rooms? What was going on when y'all had to have 10 hotel rooms on the taxpayers' dime? What was y'all doing in them hotel rooms? See, that's what I'm talking about right there. Yeah. That's why Stan, that's why you didn't come. I'm just asking a question. Is this why you didn't come? Because wasn't you riding a bike on this day too? Y'all was doing the little old riding the bike. Y'all was walking, talking about y'all walking 10, 12 blocks and all that on y'all electric bikes. Another thing, y'all get y'all a couple of electric bikes from Amazon. I'm trying to figure out where's all this Wayfield, Amazon, and all y'all splurging. And Tiffany outfits most likely coming from there. Yeah. All those $1,000 outfits you got on. While the taxpayer struggling in $9 million debt. Probably more than that. I feel it's more than that. Because nobody, Miss Lightfoot will probably put it at the end of her report. But all of those lawsuits that are pending on them have to be included in the financial report as well. That 33 mil lawsuit by itself automatically tells me you're 33 mil in the hole. And we'll talk about that bailout later, because the bailout ain't going to be too easy unless somebody get charged. 10 hotel rooms. What did y'all do?
Yeah, travel. Traveled to New York City in October of 2023, 1 traveler. Atlanta, Georgia in November of 2023, 1 traveler. On the Village's credit cards. And I caveat that because we will, and are continuing to look at, I'll say, cross-pollination between the village and the township and the credit card use there.
My thing is, why y'all keep coming to the South? Y'all done went to Birmingham. Y'all done went to Montgomery. Y'all done went all that in Alabama. And then y'all went to Georgia, where we based at. Y'all, why y'all in the South anyway? Because, see, we don't play with city slicksters. No, we don't. Now, y'all keep that up there. Y'all keep that up there. Because, see, I'm telling you now, y'all playing with the wrong one. Y'all heard that country lady when she came up in y'all little meeting and can on. You playing with the wrong one, okay? Not saying that the North don't play either now, you know, because I was born and raised in New York City. I know a lot of y'all can't tell it through some of my accent and everything, but the point is, why y'all keep coming to the South, Hen? Now, we do have a lot of barnyards for you, because that's where you belong. If you ain't coming to the South to jump in one of them barnyards, be coming down here trying to throw that city slickster stuff on us, baby, because we see straight through it. Why y'all keep coming to the South? What's in Atlanta so hard? What's in Alabama so hard? What's in Mississippi? They all up in Mississippi. Y'all see right here, Mississippi. I'm telling y'all better stop playing with the South now. They don't play with city slicksters. One thing they don't like, you come and you be cordial and all that, but all this stuff we looking at, all this slick stuff, honey. Honey. I'm telling you something for the wise.
So let me summarize for you kind of what we presented, what we found so far regarding the finances. The general fund is used to pay the vast majority of the village's expenses. As you heard, as of May 31st of this year, the fund had a negative balance of $3.65 million. The village's general fund expenditures have exceeded revenues the past 2 fiscal years, ending April 30th, 2023 and April 30th, 2024. As of June 30th of this year, the cash on hand in unrestricted accounts is insufficient to cover the held checks valuing $6.1 million. We are in the current fiscal year of FY 2025, and the village has no budget that's been passed this year. The village's financial records have not been audited since FY 2021, and the village has not filed the mandated state annual reports since FY 2021.
Sad.
So where are we in terms of next steps? Regarding the financial information, there's a lot more work that we need to do. As I indicated, we've just recently got a lot of information in the door that is reflected for the most part in this presentation, but there are other things that we have asked for, and we're hoping that we're going to get further cooperation from the Kasperic accounting firm. Additional details regarding credit card spending and any receipts that might exist. Detailed accounting records and reconciliations, check registers, which is important. Detailed accounting of inter-fund transfers and balances. What we're seeing, and we need to really look at the detail here, is that there is a transfer from one fund, in some instances there's restricted funds, into another fund, and vice versa. Additional detail, we're looking at what are the financial policies and practices in place, and whether or not those need to be changed, updated, or beefed up in any way. We are continuing to look at what happened in Las Vegas. There are 2 trips, one in May of 2022 and a second in May of 2023. And as I alluded to earlier, the relationship and the intermingling of funds and personnel with Thornton Township is something we're very focused on as well.
Okay, so first of all, we thought it was just one trip to Vegas. Y'all done went to Vegas 2 times, right? According to this right here we looking at on the screen. What was y'all going? Y'all done splurged in Vegas 2 times already. What's really going on? And well, y'all didn't bring no businesses back. Y'all didn't bring none of that. Matter of fact, you shut those down. Bullying them and not letting them get their license and not letting them renew their business license and all that. And then that Thornton Township is on the bottom. Miss Lightfoot reported allegedly that you are intertwining, and I kind of thought you was intertwining with Thornton and the village of Dolton, meaning that you are taking funds from one and throwing it in the other one to make it look like the other one got a little money. And then when you kind of pass that stage, you would take money out of the other one and throw it into the other. You'll take money from the village and put it over there at Thornton Township. Or you would take Thornton credit card and pay for Dolton stuff. Or you would take Dolton credit card and pay for Thornton stuff. So that's intertwining, okay? Yes, you are. That if that's what's going on here, according to her report, that's what's going on. And now she finna look into Thornton Township, have no choice to, because she has run into something that show that Dolphin Village is paying for something for Thornton. Okay, so that makes that auditor or that investigator have to go over there to Thornton and then see what's going on over there. Okay, so my thing is, what's really going on? So when those goons, Keith Price, get up there and tell the Dolton residents that they have no business in Thornton's meeting, use a lie. Because their money is being tangled up as well over there in Thornton, according to Miss Lightfoot's report. So this does nothing but clarify that Dolton residents can attend Thornton Township meeting. It's in their municipality anyway, so they can go where they want to go. See, that's what I'm talking about people be talking too damn fast. Keith Price. Yeah. And Thornton residents have a right to come to the Dolton meeting because it looks like their money is being intertwined into Dolphin. How trifling. Tiffany thinks she's slick. This looks slick, boy. She ain't got nothing on Nino Brown, if you ask me. At least Nino Brown kept it in one operation, kind of. Now, he did do his little, he did his little dirt over here and did a little dirt over here and did a little dirt over there. But Tiffany taking this thing here. What? Girl, bye. Bye. Now, let's listen to whatever.
Everything in my soul.
This is the trustees
to
talking.
sit here and stomach this report. As we've been saying, and I'm going to refer back to Trustee Norwood, anybody that has watched the meetings, I said the checks that's sitting on the desk that ain't been cashed. Nobody has to come to a board meeting and tell a lie about anything. It's common sense. It's simple multiplication. When you have people emailing you every day about their invoices and payments. This goes as far back as June 9, 2022. It's sad. It's sickening. People came last month when we got our tax bills in an uproar about the tax. Can y'all imagine when we do take initiative to even start straightening this out, how our tax bill is going to look? That $6.8 million didn't never come. And it was spent before depositing. It's simple math. $6 million, $6.1 million in checks sitting somewhere. $40,000 at Amazon. What a slap in the face to everybody that reside in 60419 zip code.
That is a slap in the face. When you got some people that's really striving day to day, their tax dollars are getting pulled out of their checks, or when they go and they buy something, their tax dollars are being taken out of, their purchases. And you thinking that it's going to the city, which it is going to the city, it is going to the village. And then every time your money goes into the village, somebody is buying something off of Amazon with your money that It's really supposed to be for paving new roads for everybody, not just for your family members. You know, putting new sidewalks down, not just for your family, for the residents. Bringing in new businesses so that more tax dollars can enter into the village. It's supposed to go to stuff like that. But to know that your tax dollars is being taken out of your check, taken out of your pension, or when you go and you purchase things from the grocery store or retail store or something like that, your tax is going into the city, and then the city people are taking it and buying shit off Amazon. We need to know what was purchased at Amazon and Wayfield and everywhere else.
The meeting and Mayor Lightfoot, I'm so grateful for this information that you provided, because it takes somebody else to come in to show that we've been trying to stop this, and we've been doing minimal damage. So could you have imagined if we just sat up there and approved everything that was going on? Because she gonna ride off in her BMW and we'll still be here stuck. We have been financially raped.
Wow.
And when people rape people, they get anything they deserve.
Wow.
I'm just gonna say what I've been saying for months and months and months. The bag been empty in 2022. The bag, there was never anything in the bag. And you still continue to say, they're lying, they're lying, they're lying. Here is proof for everyone to see, and even the ones who doubt us. If you don't see through this, there's nothing I can say to you. Even last week, sitting with Mayor Lightfoot, it's a punch in the gut. As the lady said from out of town, you've been hoodwinked, you've been bamboozled, led astray. All of that. And for a person to sit there and constantly lie.
Yeah, Tiffany, why do you sit up there and just lie? And lie with a straight face. But remind you that Lavelle Redmond, when he did that interview with Jedediah Brown, he did say specifically that Tiffany is a professional liar. She could sit up in your face and tell a lie so smoothly. And he said she was lying to the board and the residents at one time when he was there. And he knew she was lying. And she lied so smoothly, then had the nerve to throw on a fake cry to make it even more believable. But she was lying, and he knew that she was lying. And she went on with that act. And everybody believed her. She's a smooth liar. That type of liar is very dangerous as well. Yeah.
Board meeting. I don't say much because I just can't see how the girl tell all them lies like that.
Lavelle Redmond said it.
It's unbelievable for a person to say that and for people to believe. So we thank God for Mayor Lightfoot's being here today, her presentation. Now, if this doesn't open up the eyes to these residents and let us know what as we say, the black jobs mean black vote. Everybody tell somebody. February of 2025, clean house.
Okay. Now, let me tell you something. I always keep it real. That's just me. Me, my team, the Knowledge family, and everybody, we stand behind Dolton very strongly. Stand behind Alexis Wilson also getting justice She needs her justice. Lacey was on the force when Alexis Wilson was taken by one of those Dolton police officers, okay? So, my thing is, we keeps it real. And when I say things, sometimes I do have to, my point of view, tell the trustees as well if I think they are saying something wrong or doing something wrong. I keeps it real. I'm not a one-sided person. I'm on their side 100%. But if I see something that's shaky and flaky, I'm going to say it. But still on their side. Okay? It's just a word to the wise. Okay? Now, this here statement that Brittany said, Brittany had a nice speech, but it was one thing in there that I was uncomfortable about, and I'm getting ready to play it. Okay? And it's not to bash Brittany. It's just to kind of school Brittany, as I am an old school G. Okay? And if she's probably in her early 40s, I don't know how old she is. If she's about in her early 40s, by Tiffany age, my son that's on the channel picture with me is about that age, okay? So, I'm an old school G. And I just kick the knowledge as I see it, okay? But it was one statement that I didn't too much agree with.
In terms of a board, because we still want to try to work with this administration to the end. Our goal is still to attempt, no matter what, for the residents. So I just want you all to know that we want to work together. That's the goal. We are put here for checks and balances, and hopefully they can start bringing things in front of us.
Okay, right there. Brittany said she wants to still work with the administration, which is Tiffany administration. And that's all well, fine, and good. But you cannot work with a thief, because then your work will become exhausted, like it is now, Brittany. Y'all are exhausted because you've been trying to work with that hand. Okay? You probably didn't mean to say it in that way, but you might want to think about how you word things, because you said that you still want to work with the administration. Now, in this case, y'all have to still work with her, yes. But what should have been said is we have to push through this with this administration until we can clean house in 2025. But we don't agree, which we all know, but it still should be said. We don't agree with none of this. And it's going to be hard working with an administration like this who has exhausted us to the lowest level. But we will continue to try to do our job the best we can, given the position we are being put in. But all that, I mean, I'm still willing to work with this administration. We still willing to, for the residents, we still willing to work with, and we hope we can work with this administration and they produce evidence, is what you said? Well, they could produce, let me hear that again.
I want you all to know that we want to work together. That's the goal. We are put here for checks and balances, and hopefully they can start bringing things in front of us.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully they can start bringing things in front of us. Tiffany ass ain't bought nothing in front of your ass all this time. What make you think she's gonna bring something in front of you now? Tiffany got a criminal lawyer sitting on the side of her, 2 of them. From my understanding, they have their faults, but they'll do some damage too. Okay? So, with criminal defense lawyers sitting on the side of you, what make you think that she finna give you anything? That's all I have to say about that.
And from what we have seen over the last 3 years that we have been legislative counsel for these trustees, number one, the hiring of Mayor Lightfoot was not only smart, but incredibly necessary, as you've seen tonight. Her work is extraordinary and will continue to produce information this board and for the public, which you need to know and the board needs to know in order to try to right the ship. Without her and her skill and her staff, we wouldn't be sitting here tonight with this information for you. There is a lot of work to do. More financial discovery from Mayor Lightfoot, more layoffs and readjustment of personnel, leadership change at the police department, stopping of harassment of employees, and for us, the lawyers, trying to work with the 40-plus lawsuits that have been filed against this village in the last 3 years. Our firm has not been paid for 3 years. Why? Because the mayor won't sign the checks in hopes of us leaving. She has a motion to fire us on every agenda and usually rails against us on every agenda.
Okay, so Brittany, your lawyer just said he ain't been paid in 3 years. So what make you think Tiffany gonna give you any paperwork or something to make things better? I'm just saying, I keeps it real, okay? And see, y'all trustees got to be stronger than this. You got to be able to know when the end is the end for the hen, and that she don't care nothing about none of y'all sitting there. If so, you wouldn't be talking about having to sell a building. You wouldn't be sitting there talking about how big of a deficit you in. You wouldn't be sitting there talking about how you got to take money from another little spot to make payroll. I'm just saying. If it's going to be Clean House 2025, you also have to clean the mindset away from the hen. Because still trying to feed a snake, you're going to constantly get bit in 2025 as well.
Tell you this, we're not leaving, and we're staying with Dolton. That the people of the village of Dolton stick with this board of trustees because they're heroic in and of themselves.
I want to highlight one comment made by Attorney Olson, Attorney McGrath. 3 years with no pay. 3 years without pay. Not many, if any, other attorney would take on that walk with the board, with the residents of this community. And it seemed that every turn as things were getting worse, Bert got more pissed. So I'll just jab at him and say, you heard what she say about you? But In all candidly speaking, there is when we talk about partnerships and what it takes for us to try to get to an end. And I'm saying this because, as you see, we have a big hole. So we want to make sure that the partnerships continue because that's what's going to get us out of this hole as well. And I want to say thank you for the service that you guys have provided. I want to turn over to Mayor Lightfoot for kind of her final comments. As the board has asked questions, we're going to pause to give them a moment to exit. The board is here to answer questions, but I'm also serious about this hourly rate that I don't want to make sure we spend frivolously.
It's the friends and family disconnect.
But
I know how I felt when I started seeing these numbers. So I can imagine how all of you are feeling after all this time being in the dark. And I just want to let you know that this isn't just...
Now I want y'all to listen to Ms. Lightfoot very, very closely, okay? Listen to her very, very closely, because like I told y'all, I'll be Ms. Lightfoot translator for things that she want to say but can't say pertaining to a statement. So, listen to it.
A job. This isn't just some task. We feel this. And so we have worked very, very diligently, very hard under difficult circumstances to get as much information as we could to share with you. You may hear a number of things in the coming days. But what I can assure you is the information that we have shared, that we're putting our names on, is drawn directly from the financial records of this village. We wouldn't be here sharing this information, advising the trustees and talking with legislative council if we didn't have confidence in the numbers. There are a number of other things we know, but we aren't ready yet. We got to verify them 20 ways from Sunday. But this, if you hear, this is fake news, it's not real. This is real. The last thing I'll say is we figured that folks would probably want to take a little time to study these numbers in a little more detail. We have 100 copies of this deck that we will leave, paper copies. So after the meeting is over, you can feel free to come get them. First come, first serve. Don't worry, media. We've already shared the electronic copies with you all, so you should have that. But again, thank you. Thank you for showing up for yourselves and for your families and for your community.
Okay, translator, aka cafe. Let me translate that for you, hen. Let me translate that for you. Cause see, she did. Miss Lightfoot always professional with it. She ain't like you, hen, okay? She's very professional with it. But I'm finna be the translator, okay? Here it is. It ain't nothing fake about what I did today, okay? So when you go to hearing people talking about it's fake news, let me tell y'all people, this is not no fake news, okay? Don't even fix your mouth, Tiffany, to say what I did today and the receipts I showed today and the report that I gave out today is fake news, okay? Now, you can holler fake news if you want to all day long, but just know I'm coming in that hen's yard and clean out and grab some more receipts. I'm going to grab some more documents because, see, right now I got a lot more. I'm just not ready to share it yet. I got to get it all together, but I'm coming to clean out that hen's yard, okay? Yes, I'm getting all the receipts so I can investigate all this, bring the truth and transparency so I can take my ass home because I'm really tired of fooling with your hen, okay? So now, if you click on your little videos trying to send message and trying to be smart by saying this fake news, you better think twice, okay, Tiffany? Think twice before you come up here talking about what I did is fake news. Because, see, I done put my signature on it. I done put my name on this. So this right here is legit. So think twice before you go on your little social media like you did before and try to slick diss me. Think twice before you do that. Because my job is to do a financial report, and that's what I did, and it's no more fake news about that. It's no fake news about that. Okay? So just want to let you know before you start trying to click on your little video talking about some fake news. My signature's on this, so think twice. Okay? And before you click on those videos anyway, how about turning them vehicles in so that this village can start climbing out of this disrespectful debt you got them in, okay? Do that before you click on any video talking about fake news that I got my signature down on. Turn in them vehicles and climb your ass out of this disrespectful debt. That's it. That's the end of the translator. Uh-huh. Now, told y'all I was going to be Miss Lightfoot translator. Yes, I am. And she do another one, I'm going to be her translator too. And you better not come with no disrespect. And I tell you right now, if you even think about clicking on now and trying to say something about some Beetlejuice, Tiffany, I'm going to ride your bumper. Better not say nothing about Miss Lightfoot. Now, let's get back on to the real deal. Now, let's get back into some of the comments, then we're going to close out.
We have become, or maybe remained, a town divided over these years. So I want to make sure that we're focusing on what happened only by way of knowing what not to do to repeat our past failures, what we need to do to overcome or put safeguards in places and strengthen policies and procedures. In some cases, in many cases, we've had the policies and procedures on the books, and they're just not being followed. But through persistence, and I'm going to say persistence not only of this board, but many Dolton residents. So I want to ask that you give yourselves a round of applause, because without the many people that come in week after meeting after meeting, stating what's going on and saying, as a resident of this community, I'm not happy, and we've been termed in many ways as kind of a ish show, and some other expletives that are not favorable. That's not what we want for our community. I do have to say that in any town, when the numbers look that bad, there should be some noise.
Now, y'all heard what Jason just said there, because I want to say something about that.
Noise. That
I can assure you.
They go from one entity to the
Hold
other.
on. I want to say something about Jason.
Administration to
Hold on, family.
After all this time, being
the view of tonight's report.
advising.
Trying to get there you go.
Because without the many people that come in week after meeting after meeting, stating what's going on and saying, as a resident,
he say something that I want to bring a
I'm
point to,
happy.
family.
And we've been termed in many ways as kind of a ish show.
That's it.
And
Jason said people has been saying that the village is a S show, okay? Jason, you can't worry about that, baby, okay? Because let me tell y'all like this. It's a lot of, this is the new generations, not generations that, I come from, what the generations I come from, and the generations before my generation, is that this is what you had to do. Sometimes you had to, that's what a movement is about. It's about some yelling. It's about some talking. It's about some pointing fingers. It's about saying some things sometime and arguing. No, I'm not finna move. I'm not finna get up out my seat. Leave her alone. Leave him alone. Y'all wrong. You this, that. You're gonna hear that in a movement. That's what a movement does. But we can say throughout this whole time, we haven't seen like a real throwdown fight. It's always been verbally. Okay? It's been a lot of standing up in each other's face, and that's one side who wants change versus the other side who's just not going to change and who is toxic and low down. When you get those two together, yes, it's going to be some type of shouting, some type of disrespect somewhere, but that's standing up for change. And sometimes change, fighting for change, gets ugly. A lot of people must have not looked at the civil rights movement. And it's sad that in 2024, we still have people that has to fight for their rights, fight for their civil rights. It's sad. But most of the people who are doing a lot of the constant talking, the same people that's doing the constant talking, and say we see the same people all the time. Yeah, because they used to a fight. They used to pushing for civil rights. That's why you see them all the time. They ain't scared to do it. Because if they wasn't there, Tiffany been done ran all over that town. It don't matter if it's 2 or 3. But people like Miss Mary, she got some age on her. She used to a fight. She knows what it's like to be in a civil rights fight. Mr. Dan Lee, he knows what it is to be in a civil rights fight. And hell, if our kids' generation in the 30s or whatever can't do it, they have to do it. Hoping it will be better for the next generation to come. Yeah, so, Jason, don't worry about, oh, we were labeled as a S show. Yeah. If you go back to Martin Luther King and everybody else going across the Edmund Pettus Bridge and how that broke out, people probably would call that a S show back in the day. But it was a necessary S show. Yeah. Let's get that understanding. Because Cafe, has never called any one of these meetings a shit show. Not when you got people fighting for change. Fighting for change ain't always peaceful.
Some other expletives that are not favorable. That's not what we want from our community. I do have to say that in any town when the numbers look that bad, there should be some noise.
In view of tonight's report, I think one thing is apparent. Since Dolton Township has been used to launder money, commingle funds, and things of that nature, I think it's a long time that we start going to their meetings also, and that we start working together, trustees to trustees, citizen to citizen. We have to find a way to rid our village of that malevolent administration that we now live in. So the only way I can see to do that, we have to fight them from every angle, because right now, they go from one entity to the other, doing this, doing that, and even with the great work done by Mayor Lightfoot, they still haven't been able to track down everything that they're doing. So in order for us to thrive, we are the canaries in the coal mine right now. We need to make that apparent to everyone in this South suburban region. It happened to us. She's using you all, using that entity to wash the money. It's pretty obvious. And we got to find a way to stop that. So I have a question. Do any of these things, if proven, does any of this stuff rise to the level of criminal? I don't know who might know that, but that's got to be something. If they can get a guy for stealing $10,000 out of a bank or something, embezzling, this is embezzling on a grand scale. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much all I have to say right now.
So I'll give a quick response. We feel that it does rise to the level of criminal. All information received in our report and further reports will be turned over to all authorities relevant to make a final determination.
Okay, and that's good. And just like Mr. Dan said, Mr. Dan Lee, he said, does all of this rise to the point of criminal? And Jason said that they think it does, and they're getting prepared now to push for criminal. And that's what I was going to say about the bailout. That's about what will get them a bailout easier, is if they press charges on somebody for all this here that's going on. You know, when you press charges against somebody, then the government will see that it's somebody who actually did it and is being held accountable for doing it, and then you can most likely get that bailout. Or if the FBI come in and start indicting and then pulling people, then that can give that village an excuse to get the bailout a little easier. But if you don't charge anybody or press charges on somebody for taking this, then the government just ain't gonna give you a bailout. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm just going off of past experience of looking at different cases. It's like you just can't jack up $9-10 million worth of the government money, and nobody gets charged, and the government just say, oh, that's okay, I'll give you a bailout. Nah, it don't work that easy. Y'all ain't trying to press no charges against nobody, nothing like that. Well, we ain't gonna be able to do. It's gonna be hard to get a bailout. It'll take twice the time to get a bailout if you don't have anybody to say, yeah, this person right here took our money and we did press charges. It's some receipts to show. Then the government will be like, oh, okay, you might get that bailout a little easier versus nobody being charged. Tiffany just walk away and then expect for the government to give you a bailout. Nah, you just can't go through the government's money like that and then say, okay, we need a bailout. And y'all ain't trying to press charges or do nothing about the person who took that type of money. Nah, if that's the case, every government official, damn near, the majority of them would be taken too. They'll be taking $9 and $10 million too if they thought that the government would just automatically say, oh, y'all missing $10 million? Okay, here's a bailout. If it was that easy, it'd be a hell of a lot more thieving going around in the government. It's not that easy. You got to charge some people. And that's why government officials ain't touching stuff like that, because they know that either the city is going to press charges against them or either the federal government is going to step in and grab them and press charges up against them. So bailouts ain't that easy.
I'm so accustomed
not if ain't
to
nobody charged about it.
Public comments. So, this is to every resident of the village of Dolton that is here and not here. This is to let you know, this is not fake news. This is real. And to all the residents that seem to think that this is not real, you need to get a copy of this. To all the residents that think, oh, she's doing a great job and she's giving this party and we're going to get hot dogs and they're giving the kids Easter baskets and televisions and
turkey
CD players and laptops. That's our money. It ain't her money. It's our money. And free 99 ain't always good. So I employ every resident that seems to want to go to every event that she does, stop going. Stop going.
Exactly. Because Tiffany is doing nothing but using y'all tax dollars to defeat y'all. She's using y'all tax dollars to throw some scams on y'all. She's using y'all tax dollars to try to stay up in that seat. She using y'all tax dollars and then dogging the residents at the same time. How you take my money and then dog me? How you take my money and then bully me? How you take my money and harass me? How you take my money and put me in hardship? You take my money and you eat good, and I have to eat a jelly sandwich every day. What? But even though I'm eating a little jelly sandwich, I'm still going to go to your event. Even though I know the event I'm going to, you took my money to do it while I'm suffering. And I'm going to still smile in your face and party with you, even though you dogging the hell out of me. What? We got to do better. I just want some of your turkey tail. I know I'm eating a jelly sandwich, but I would love some of your turkey tails, even though the turkey tails that the hen got came from you. Your money she took. Wow.
Don't support nothing that she's giving. What you need to do is support these individuals up here that's been working for us. And to all the individuals, because it's election time, to all the individuals that want to throw their hat in the ring, or I'm going to run for trustee, or I'm going to run for village clerk. No. These are the individuals that have been working for us. So if you're going to do something, put your money, your support, your time, get out and knock on doors, make telephone calls for Clerk Key, for Jason House as mayor, for Brittany Norwood to retain her seat as trustee, for Kiana Belcher, who always have the receipts, to continue her job as our village trustee. That's what the Village of Dolton residents need to do. This is real. It ain't fake, and they ain't fake either.
Okay, and I want to chime in on what Mama said, okay? Now, I kind of like what Mama said about the new candidates. Now, I don't have no problem with the people that's saying that they are running for trustee or they running for supervisor over there at Thornton. Now, you know what? I keeps it real, okay? I don't care what you feel about me. I keeps it real, okay? It's good tea, whether you want to hear it or not. I'm not... Check this out. I wouldn't be really a friend if I don't tell your ass the truth. See, a friend's supposed to be able to tell you when some shit don't look right, or when you ain't doing something right, or what they feel you ain't doing. They should be able to at least tell you. And then the friendship still be all good. You know, and you should be able to tell me the same thing, and the friendship be all good. Okay, but my thing is, these new candidates that was like they running, got no problem with that. But my question is, where was y'all when the residents and the trustees' soul was running thin and holes was in the bottom of their shoes and boots, hitting that ground trying to do something about this hen? I want to know where was y'all at then. See, this is 2024. You got to be in the push and the movement. We have to see that you willing to push in a movement. We have to see that you got the spunk for a movement. Okay? But sitting your ass back until the fight is just about over and then jump up off the couch and holler, I'm going to run for trustee. Oh, no. We like you, we love you, but you ain't put no damn miles on them damn shoes. You ain't put no miles on them boots. Where was you when they were standing out there in that rain? The YouTubers was covering this story and everything. Tiffany had them out there in the rain, in the cold, in the sun, sweating, all that. They shoes I know they done got about 2-3 pair of shoes by now. Hey, where was y'all at there? See, it's 2024. We need participation before we do consideration. Okay? Yeah. See, we got to see, that's what I'm talking about right there. We need to see some work. Chop, 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 chop. We haven't seen no work. I haven't seen no work for the ones who came up there and said, I'm running for this. It might be the perfect candidate, but the perfect candidate to me is when you in this thing and you was in it. You was in that rain. You was in that heat. You was in that cold. You was standing up there every time, or you was standing outside. If she didn't let you in, you was in there. Because the way I see it, it's about 10 YouTubers that's qualified to be trustee or supervisor down there in Thornton and Dolton. The way they have been covering this story. They have been having boots on the ground for the internet. Yes, they are. Boot internet is what they've been having. So I know about 10 YouTubers, and that's not including myself, that should be able to go down there and run for trustee or supervisor, because they have been on it. They have been putting exposure on Tiffany to get help down there in Dolton and Thornton. They have been on Tiffany back legitly, not that half-ass flip-flop shit. I'm talking about real down. Trying to get, covering this story. YouTubers can cover a whole lot other stuff than just this. But they choose to stay on it and help. And shout out to the YouTubers who do that. But the point is, you talking about, I'm running for trustee. Well, then it's about 10 YouTubers that should be going down there running for trustee. And supervisor too. Because they have put boots on the ground on this internet. So, we need to let everybody know that if it's a push and a movement going on anywhere around this United States, if your ass ain't got no holes in your shoes or your tennises or your boots or whatever, helping the citizens don't come when everything is damn near over and you don't put your popcorn down and put on some fresh cologne and shit and go up there talking about, I'm running for trustee. If you don't get up, what is the sweat? You got to put in some sweat. You see that this place is hardship. I can see if the place wasn't in no hardship and people come out of nowhere. It's just a regular town. Everything is running smooth. And some people just say, hey, I want to run for this. Okay, everybody be considered. But when you got sweat, tears, and hard labor running all through Dolton trying to make a change, and you ain't nowhere to be found, and then when the fight is just about cleared and the reports come out and not indictments, but subpoenas done been on folks' head, and goons have been dropping out like flies. See, now you ain't too much scared of the goons because most of them done dropped out. So now I can come out in the open and know we don't need no scary folks, okay? That's all I got to say about that. I'm tired of talking about it, but I ain't trying to hurt nobody's feelings. I'm keeping it real. Yeah. I'm just keeping it real. And trustees, y'all stop telling Tiffany y'all business what's going on out here. Because, see, Tiffany had no business knowing that Keith sent an email to nobody. See, that putting Keith in a whole lot of danger. Y'all know these goons are dangerous. You sat up there and heard one of the lawyers say, y'all getting threatened, y'all getting harassed, y'all getting all that. Y'all got to take stuff to the sheriff department everywhere right now. Tell the information, but don't tell Tiffany who told it. Just be like in the meeting when she said, well, who told y'all to lay these people off? That ain't none of your business. We going by, we ain't got enough money. And These people need to be laid off, point blank, period. We ain't getting no suggestions. Don't worry about where our suggestions came from. And see, women, we have a habit of talking too damn much. So you get down there because Tiffany is a slickster. And you got to watch Stan, too. I'm sorry, Stan, but you flip-flopping and straddling the fence. Them little side-eye Stan. Y'all might not be able to tell Stan nothing. And I know, is Stan asking y'all what's going on? Good, what they talking about? Oh, y'all met with Miss Lori Lightfoot today. What she say? What she say? You got to watch him. Because Stan didn't show up at the meet. Anyway, I'm on the road. I need to save some of this for my live coming up Wednesday. Anyway, don't forget the live Wednesday coming up on the 14th at 5 p.m. Central Time. Yeah, so, you know, don't be telling Tiffany nothing. Somebody just made a mistake and slipped and said Keith sent the email to somebody, and then that somebody gave it to the trustees. Tiffany don't even need to know that. She had 2 criminal lawyers sitting on the side of her, already getting a heads up for all this. Don't give Tiffany nothing to work with. Leave her in the dark. And that might mean y'all might have to leave Stan in the dark too. Anyway, except for Miss Lori Lightfoot, I can see y'all coming to the meeting saying, hey, Miss Lightfoot did a nice report and she suggests that we, have to lay off some folks or, something, because see, Tiffany can't do nothing with Miss Lightfoot. Or if you say our lawyer suggested that we lay off some people and looking at the finance paperwork, we do need to cut back. You could use those kind of 2 names, because Tiffany can't do nothing to them people. But when you go to saying such and such said it, people who ain't got no type of backup, very dangerous. Anyway, let me finish talking about what this lady here talking about. I think she thinks.
Greetings.
And this is Steve. He running for trustee. Now, Steve done had boots on the ground. Yes.
We've been known for these chaotic board meetings over the last few months. So they think that's all Dolton is. Look how smooth this meeting was today. Look how calm, professional. That's not what Dolton is. This is what Dolton is. So when y'all see this news media and when y'all see how smooth this meeting went, know that this is Dolton. The other meetings is not Dolton. This is Dolton. I want to say also, it's for years, they've been saying every meeting, they don't want to pay these people. Pay the people. How come Stan Brown ain't here today?
Yes, Ed Steve. What? I'm telling you, that's what I said. Hold on. Say it again.
This is real to do. This is real. It ain't fake and they ain't fake.
Yeah, let me hear Ed Steve say that again. What is Stan Brown?
Greetings. Former trustee Edward Steve, to the media, to the cameras, to the YouTubers, we've been known for these chaotic board meetings over the last few months.
Hey, I ain't realized you said to the YouTubers. Shout out to you too, Ed Steve. Ed Steve, shout out to YouTubers, Yeah, shout out to you too.
I think they think that's all Dolton is. Look how smooth this meeting was today. Look how calm, professional. That's not what Dolton is. This is what Dolton is. So when y'all see this news media and when y'all see how smooth this meeting went, know that this is Dolton. The other meetings is not Dolton. This is Dolton. I want to say also, it's for years, they've been saying every meeting, they don't want to pay these people. Pay the people. How come Stan Brown ain't here today?
Why Stan ain't there?
We've been saying pay the people. And we've been saying, no, they don't have the money. So now it's vindication when you sit there and get berated over and over again. And people come to you and say, how come you don't pay the people? Why are you holding up the vendors? This shows you that she's been lying the whole damn time.
Yep.
The whole damn time. So I thank y'all. I thank you, trustees.
I'm finna show y'all another lie she told. That Miss Mary.
2 questions and a comment. We love you guys. This is our future, but don't forget Ed Steve. My question number 1 is, how many people in this audience are not registered to vote?
Okay, so she did.
How many people in this audience know someone who is not registered to vote? Well, it's obvious they're out here. We're all registered, and I guarantee you we don't all vote. We need to change that.
Mm-hmm.
We have people who have...
Okay, so she said y'all need to change that. That little 1,000, 2,000 or whatever that's coming out. Y'all need to come out. More people than that need to come out for
now
real.
Deputy registers.
Yes.
If you know
Now,
someone, reach out
my
to the
thing
trustees,
is,
reach out to us. We will make sure that's done.
And this is the next lady. And then I think that's just about it.
Ms. Cassandra Jordan. I've been a resident here in Dolton for 16 years. And when I look at the situation and everything that's going on, I can just honestly say I'm just so disgusted with what is going on in this village. And I want to encourage the voters, because I've come to the point that I don't just vote because you're just black. We have to start doing our due diligence and start researching the people that we actually cast our votes for. We can no longer just take handouts and because you're my favorite or because I like you. We have to literally start doing our research. And for those of you that voted for Tiffany, I'm just going to honestly say it. You might not like me. You just didn't do your research. I mean, you can honestly look at this chick and see that there was an issue and that there was a problem.
Exactly.
I mean, when you do your research, you see, I mean, if you got a person with a criminal background, who in their right mind would have put her in position? So I say to you all, do your due diligence and just stop voting for people because they're black. We have to do our research. And if a lot of you all had done your research, a lot of this stuff would have been avoided. That's all I'm going to have to say.
And that's true. Tiffany had she had that mugshot for breaking in cars or whatever. And then she got on the trustee board and just was slapped off the chain. Had a nasty mouth, but then tried to swindle the folks like, oh, I'm doing all this for y'all. Have a nasty mouth. I'm doing it for y'all, though. See, I'm on y'all side. Tiffany conned her way all the way from trustee to supervisor to mayor. And then after that, the true demonic soul came out. Unbelievable. But all that stuff that Tiffany was doing, she was a slumlord. And didn't care. Didn't care. She swindled the government then. She was getting money for a house that shouldn't even been occupied anyway. Section 8. That house was clearly in terrible condition. And then somehow it was an inspector that passed it along anyway for Tiffany to make it look like the house is livable, but it really wasn't. And they forced the lady had to still stay in terrible conditions. Just a slumlord. Yeah. That's all she was. You know? Now, you know that Ed Steve said Tiffany lies. And the point is, right here, is that all Tiffany goons and Tiffany, all of them, her goons over here, has drained that village dry. what all was spent and all that, man, this is terrible. Terrible. And let me close with, remember when Ed Steve said all she do is lie, lie, lie. I'm going to close out with this. And y'all think about this. Hold on. Y'all think about this. Tiffany, you remember when I told y'all in a deposition that Tiffany did with Burton Oldison law firm, she was throwing Keith up under the bus. I don't handle that. They kept asking about the receipts and finance and this and that. I don't handle that. My administration does. Then they asked about something else. Didn't I tell you I don't handle day-to-day operation? My administration does. I don't handle day-to-day operation. This is on a deposition. See, if you give a person enough rope, they'll trip over it. Like Tiffany. This mud while in here sat right up there in a deposition and said, I don't handle day-to-day operation. Now, I'm quite sure Burton Oldison still has that deposition that says Tiffany said she don't do day-to-day operation. But when she wanted to fire Keith, this here past meeting, she says the opposite. That she handles day-to-day operation. She says that out of her mouth. I told y'all don't handle day-to-day operation. I do. See that? See that? Check this out, family, and I'm closing.
9:52 p.m.
This is the last meeting in Dolton Village. Check it out.
That's a shame. So I'm gonna remember this.
This one she want them to fire
At the end of
Keith.
the day, I told you, you guys don't run the day today. The mayor does.
What?
So,
What? What she say, family? I keep telling y'all don't run the day-to-day operation. The mayor does. Check this out one more time.
Keith Freeman, I know you're watching. You no longer work for the village of Dolton.
Check this out.
I'm gonna remember this. Because at the end of the day, I told you, you guys don't run the day today. The mayor does.
The mayor does.
Keith Freeman.
Let that sink in, family. That's all I got to say about that. Don't forget our live show coming up this Wednesday at 5 p.m. Central Time on the 14th, August the 14th, this Wednesday. I keep telling y'all.
I know you're watching. You no longer work for the
Check it out.
Because at the end of the day, I told you, you guys don't run the day today. The mayor does.
The mayor does. That's all I got to say about that. Gain knowledge to prevent blockage, and we all know what that means. The more you know, the harder it is for anybody to block y'all from your goals and success. See y'all Wednesday.